Oh boy. 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 Let's go back to Zoom. Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. Did you join? Anthony, Megan, Todd. It's JD and Sunny here. Say hello, Sunny. She's not exactly sure how to do the say hello thing yet, but thank you for attending. We'll just get going in a few minutes here. Hello, hello, Michael. Hey, everyone. Sunny, do you want to do any tricks? Any little kid tricks? Sunny is 8 months old. She's very talkative these days. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Oh yeah, she's going crazy. Hello, Lynn, Megan. Dee, 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 dee. Yeah. This is my wife, Liz. Thanks everyone for joining. All right. We'll be going here just in a few minutes. And I must admit something. I put on a nice shirt for our webinar today, but I am wearing sweatpants. So if anyone, I did this the other day and people were like, oh, you're making me feel bad. I needed to get dressed up. It's like, don't believe the hype. I'm as slobbish as ever. So this is great. We'll give it a few more minutes before we get going, but really excited to present today. If you have questions throughout the webinar, this is going to be a real short one. We have an hour on the calendar. I'm not going to take an hour of your time, but I think this is a really great subject to be covering, just because it creates so much more utility for the platform. You can do so much more with it now that you can embed things right into the platform. So really excited to show you that. And yeah, we'll just give it to 104 before we get going here. So things to note, there is a Q&A section. So if you want to ask any questions in the Q&A, go ahead and drop in there. And also there is the chat. So in the chat, let's go ahead and tell me where you're coming from today. Where's everyone joining from today? I'm here in New York City. We're okay, everything's fine with us, thankfully. But where's everyone joining us from today? Chicago. I hear the weather's really not being nice to anyone right now, no matter where you are. I have a few teammates back home in Ohio. They say the weather is just miserable there. I got a teammate down in North Carolina. They say they got tornado warnings happening. So it's actually, all things considered, it's a very nice day here in New York. And we're lucky enough to have a little backyard area, so we actually can get a little sunlight and while keeping our social distancing going on here in the city. Excellent. Keep it just, there we go. Okay, 104. Great. So thank you everyone for joining us here today. I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right. So thank you for joining us here today. Oh, that's the share button. And don't worry, this is not a slide. This is not a slideshow. This is just to kind of introduce the topic. So today, we are going to cover the subject of how to embed giving forms, surveys, RSVP invites, and more into any ThankView campaign. So this is really exciting because previously, and you know, one reason we did this was previously you actually could embed giving forms and other forms into an appeal campaign. Not many people knew that feature existed. They weren't exactly sure how to do it. So one, we found a way to make it way more accessible for pretty much any link that you want to use, as opposed to having to know what an iframe code is or things like that. And then be able to basically embed any other experience into ThankView in any campaign. So whether it's a donor thanks campaign, an update, a birthday campaign, all those will work. So we'll show you, where it lives, show you some examples of the forms that work. You can ask questions. And actually, as I just thought about this, if you have things that you would want to embed, so you want to have things to test and see if they will actually embed into the experience, in the chat or in the chat section, go ahead and drop any links that you'd like to try testing to embed during this demo. It'll make more sense once we kind of get to that step. But yeah, so again, if anyone has questions, just drop them right there in the Q&A. You can drop them in the chat. Also, if you do have a ThankView account, this would be now I'd suggest this be the time that you open up your account and you kind of follow along. So, and actually I'm gonna go ahead and do this. If you're doing that at home, I'm gonna drop something into the chat for you to play with. So I'll go ahead, drop this. So these are a few different things we're going to embed today. Where in the world is my chat? There it is. Okay. We can embed that. We are going to embed this. Oop, maybe give them a little more space. Those are two different links there. And then what's the last thing I want to embed? We'll do this one too. Why not? We'll embed. So things we're going to test out today, we're going to embed a survey link. We're going to embed a giving form. And actually, I'll give you the giving form as well. But let's cut straight to it. So again, if you have a ThankView account, go ahead, fire it up now. Now would be the time. Go ahead and jump in as well. So cutting straight to the chase. So what we're going to cover today is how you embed these forms into any campaign. I'll show you where that step is. But also we'll go ahead and just create a campaign. I'll send these out to you so you can kind of see them in real time. And I'll also do a kind of little like pro trick just to show you some of the examples as we go through them. So to begin, we're going to go ahead. This is the welcome screen. This is where you first get to when you log into ThankView. Mine says ahoy hoy JD. Yours will say ahoy hoy Lynn, ahoy hoy Michael, whoever it might be, Roxanne. So we go ahead. And now this is where we get to choose which campaign type we want. Again, previously, you could embed on the appeals and solicitations, but now you can do it in donor thanks, events, updates, birthdays, anniversaries, and other. You can't do it in video requests because video requests doesn't have that option. It's kind of a different use case. And dynamic personalization is almost like a post-production project unto itself. So we kind of put it here to preview what it is. If you don't know what dynamic personalization is, it's really cool. I highly suggest you check it out. But we'll go ahead and just go with donor thanks. So we'll start here. I'm going to say embed webinar example. All right. So go ahead, add our recipients just like we would. Again, if you're brand new to this, a few different ways we can add recipients. I'm going to first do it using spreadsheets. So if you have a spreadsheet from your database or your CRM, you can go ahead and use that. I'm going to pull in everyone that's here on the demo today. So here we see our first names, last names, email or phone number, organization. Let's go ahead with the company, and then other different information you can pull down. This may be news to you, but you also can now add custom merge fields. So if there are column headers that you don't have in your account, but you want to add because there's information from your database you want to pull in, you can go ahead, add up to 5 custom addresses here. So I'm going to say favorite Justin Bieber song. I don't know how many people will fill that one in. Mine, of course, baby, baby, baby. So going back here, let's pull that spreadsheet in again. Sorry, folks, jumping around too fast. Thinking about those Justin Bieber songs just got me all hot and bothered. Let's see. Dip, 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 dip. There we go. Great. Drop them in. I'm sure. Awesome. We can also add people manually. So I'm going to send this to my cell phone so I can see it both as a text message and as an email. And let me go ahead. Oh, where is my? Oh. Oop, I think I found it a mistake. I don't see. Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't save the Justin Bieber thing. Anyway, now I've added myself manually, and I can also save lists into ThankView to use over and over again. So in this case, maybe these are live bunts, maybe these are specific gift officers' portfolio. You can just save it, reuse it at any time. Great. So now you see we have everyone that we want to send to uploaded into ThankView. I'm going to kind of breeze through this step because I want to get right to the embedding. But this is where you choose how you want your ThankView to arrive. I'm going to choose the envelope, your subject line, who it's coming from, who the sender is, who should receive replies, any shared copy that you have here, and also if they were to get it on their SMS, what the canned response back to you would be as the recipient. So one thing that's kind of also a fun little Easter egg we just found is if you do send this to people's text messages and then they text you back, this is the canned message they're going to see. But you can also, maybe you want to say, hey, thanks for the response. Make sure to learn more at whatever this link is. So you can actually go ahead and do that. Say, thanks for your response. Learn more at. I know this really doesn't have much to do with what we're talking about, but if you are using this to send text messages to people and you do then want to deliver more information if they respond back, this is how you do that. So that's a fun little Easter egg there. All right. So now the whole point and everything that we're talking about today happens on the third step, on the page step. So since I've chosen the envelope, I can go through, I can choose which envelope I want to use. But now when I roll down, this is the section that really matters. So previously, on every campaign type, you would be able to add a button. So you'd be able to drop to your URL right here, and you can make the button say whatever you want. So click here. But now, of course, we want to go over and click Embed a Form. So again, this can be any sort of form. We call it a form, but really what this means is you are able to embed any other experience into ThankView. So I'm going to show you how we can embed a giving form, how we can embed a survey link, how we can embed your calendar if you wanted to set up some time for someone to connect with you. All those things you can do. So don't get confused about what form means. It basically, for our purposes, it's a URL. You're going to grab a URL, and you're going to drop it into this field here, and then that is going to appear underneath your ThankView. Something to note about forms. So let's say your form is a survey form. It's a Google survey form. We're going to kind of see that in a second. All the things that are collected on that form or all the donations that are made through that giving form, those happen on that form. We don't have any insight into that, that activity. Imagine your embed form kind of like a window into that other experience. So while you can go through and you can have them actually, you can collect donations using any sort of giving form, we won't know how much money you've raised or how many surveys have been completed, because all that data is going to live on whatever other platform you're using. So let's go ahead and just show you what I'm talking about. First thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and see how we can embed a giving form. So today I'm using a giving form from our good friends at GiveButter. GiveButter is a fantastic platform to raise money for events, for fundraisers. They're really fantastic and quite affordable. So if you have any interest in them afterwards, I highly suggest going and checking them out. So all I've done here is this is a URL to their giving form. When I go to preview it, we see the screen as you usually see it on preview, but as you roll down, voila, you'll now notice that the giving form lives right underneath there. So again, we're matching those two experiences up together. So I can have the personalized message, hey JD, or hey Amy, thank you so much for attending this online event that we had. We would love for you to see your support. You can do so by giving below. So they go there, they give to the experience through your giving form, you collect all the money, but you've kind of married the two platforms together. Now let's go ahead and maybe want to make that a Calendly link. So in this case, maybe you want to, you're trying to reach out to your portfolio of major donors. You want to set up some time to jump on the phone, share a digital cocktail, something like that. So now, there's my little giving form right there, my calendar form. They can see it, that lives right underneath the video there. Finally, maybe we want to collect some survey information. That's what we're going to do here today. You can go ahead and just drop that URL for the Google form right here. There we see it. Oh, I wonder why that's happening. Let me work on that. I'm going to show you another form. Come on. All right, and now you see here is a survey link, an attitudinal survey from RNL that lives right in line with this experience here. So, and I apologize, I'm doing a little troubleshooting while we're on here. I'm sure this is going to be very interesting to you. So the good thing to note here is this is actually a learning moment. So obviously most links work, but occasionally there will be a reason why a link would not be able to work. So in this case, I'm trying to figure out if there's some sort of setting that I've set here that would make it so I couldn't share this link. I don't believe so. Let me try this. Let's try that. There we go. So now we see my survey is right in line there. So one thing to always note about these embedding codes is there's some trial and error that's involved in it. So one last thing, I don't want to belabor this too much. Again, you'll find the same option on all those different campaign types I've mentioned. If you have more questions about how do I embed a form, you can click this little blue copy underneath the field. It'll bring you to an FAQ page, which shows you all the information on how you can do it right there. So it should be pretty helpful. So initially when we launched this, it was all about using iframe code, as you can see kind of here. What an iframe does is let's say this is my entire screen, right? This is my entire experience. What the iframe would do is maybe I only wanted to show, a certain section of my larger website. The iframe code would say show only this and plunk that experience into wherever you want it to show up. So if the codes or the embed forms that you're looking to use, if they have iframe code around them, you can also drop that straight into this field too. So whereas I have a full, just a straight up URL link here, you can also drop in iframe links in there as well. Excellent. So don't think there's any questions on that, but again, let's go ahead. If you do have any questions, let me know. But I hope we kind of thoroughly covered it there. So now we're going to go ahead and move forward with that survey link. And actually, this is going to be a group participation, so get ready to answer these surveys. So now when you go to the video steps, you have all the different steps that you usually have. I'm going to go ahead and just make one real quick. Thank you from ThankView. Let's put it in red. Beer o'clock. Oh yeah, we're rocking and rolling. All right. So now, just like before, we have all the people on our left side here that we want to reach out to. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just click on the people that I know are in the demo. I know all these other names; they're all fake people. Shout out if you see a friend's name on here. Hey there, how you doing? Hey, Mike, he's here. All right. All the way down. Fantastic. So now I've selected all the people that I want to record for. Again, this is kind of a learning moment. You notice I've selected only the people that I wanted to. That's just one of the options. I could also select the entire audience. I could select by name, or I could pull in this other information. So if I wanted to, break it down by gift designation, if I happen to have their gift information in here, you could just say, okay, that's what I'm going to use as the information that I'm going to use to kind of segment my list. So maybe I want to do the same video for everyone who gave to the ThankView Fund. Let's go ahead. Let's not belabor this too much. So now, since I'm going to ask you to push, check out the form below, record, make sure your hair looks all right. Hey there, JD here from ThankView, and I want to thank you for staying with me all the way through the middle of this webinar. I hope it's going all right. I hope it's making sense and that you're enjoying yourself. But yeah, there is a form below. It might be a survey link right now. Maybe later it'll turn to something else. We'll see you in a second. But go ahead, please complete the 3 questions below currently. Send those back to me, and I really appreciate it. You have a good day. All right. Change the thumbnail. Voila. Let's go ahead and send these out. Okay. So those are flying to everyone that is on the webinar. So while those are waiting, the other thing to note is, and this is kind of a little trick I was going to show you, is all the information that you put in on the page, think of this information as dynamic. So you notice that I didn't put in any copy. I didn't put any body copy in when I sent you the ThankView. If I were to update this now with body copy, and you open it after I save it, you'll actually see this. So the reason I'm mentioning that is, if you put it in one form when you first send it, but then you go, oh, I don't want that form, or maybe I want to change the form, or I want to update the form. If you update it either here, or let's say this is the Google form, and I were to actually update and add more questions here, you would see that update when you open the ThankView. So just something to note, this is all dynamic, it's not static. So you don't have to have set this before you send it live. Thanks for participating. Please complete the form below. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, save that. Voila. And now it looks as though our ThankViews have arrived. So let's go ahead and check it out. Please excuse my really messy inbox. Here's mine. I click it open. See, now I see that copy there. And there's my survey right below. So my video is going to play in line there. I'm pointing to the survey below. And just as I mentioned, maybe I want to update the colors on my survey here. So let's go ahead and update that. If I now go here, I'll see that that has updated here, as well as if I go in and update the copy. Hooray! I've updated the copy. I jump back over here, reload the page again. Hooray! So now we see that the copy is updated. My survey is updated. So if you have received this, go ahead, check out your inbox. I'll give you a few minutes. Go ahead and fill out this survey. You like this webinar? Well, yeah, of course. Will you try this for yourself? I mean, I already did. Yes, of course I will. What else will you embed? So this is the question. So now, if there's a little group participation as well, if you want us to test out and see what else we can embed into this experience, go ahead, drop that in the chat now, or just answer right here. So, of course, we're looking at the, we're looking at a survey. I've talked about a giving form. I've talked about other experiences. All that can be embedded in here. So I'm going to also say I want to embed an RSVP page. So maybe I want, once we can actually have events again, I'm going to want to do that. So I've now sent in my response. If I notice, there we go. So now I already have my response updating in my survey link. So again, that's just one example of how we use it with Google Forms. I'm going to give people a few minutes. Go ahead, see if you can add your questions or your answers right in there. I will wait. All right. Now I'm checking. Looks like 21 have been sent. 9 of you have opened them. Go ahead, see it all the way through. Another thing to note about when you embed a form. So in your metrics, we're looking at the kind of live updated metrics that are happening here on the demo. So usually when there's a button click, we can track that because again, that's an action that's happening on our site. So CTA clicks, that means call to action clicks. So that's how we track what the button actions. But with embeds, because again, it's a window, imagine, I don't know, imagine this is our site and we kind of like, we're going through and your site's over here. We don't know what's happening on your site. So we are not able to track. Obviously I had a survey. Well, it looks like we have 3 people drop in. Thank you very much. So as you can see, I have 3 responses on my survey, but I'm not seeing that anywhere in my metrics. Again, with embed forms, we don't have that direct integration. We are working on creating that integration with some of our choice partners, such as the Give Butters of the world, Ruffalo Noah Levitz, and others, so we can pass that information back and forth. Especially when it comes to fundraising, you know, it would be fantastic, and what we're working towards is if you did use ThankView for fundraising or solicitations, you will one day be able to see the actions that happen on perhaps your Give Butter form, what happens when all that donation information can come back and live in your ThankView metrics. So you can kind of see everything in one view. So I'll give everyone another second to update the responses there. All right, any stragglers, if you want to go ahead and drop a response in there. Oh, you got a question? Oh, still haven't gotten my email. Let's see, do I have the right email for you? Let's see. Again, if you are trying along at home, you can be clicking around, checking out these different things. Janzel. Okay, let's see. Janzel, depending if you have a really high firewall, if there's, and this is another thing that goes across for anyone. If your school's intranet or your email has a really high security level to it, sometimes that will impede the delivery of a thank you. Sometimes it'll get stopped entirely. One way that for your organization that you can change that is if you actually change the DNS settings. This is something we can do for you as well. We update your DNS settings so the thank you emails look like they're going through your organization's specific email domain. So, you know, nurses@utah.edu. Also, what your organization can do, it can white label the ThankView domain so that things being sent from us don't get caught up in any firewalls or security walls. Just check this again. Oh, there you go, Janzel, you just got it. Fantastic. So give everyone a second. Ooh, we got another one in there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then, so what I also want to do was just, as we updated things before, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to change the code out again. Just dropping in that Give Butter form again, because this is also obviously another really kind of huge use case of how ThankView can help, is by, you know, using this for your fundraising efforts as well. You know, we don't suggest the ask, the thank you and the ask, but of course there are going to be times that you need to raise funds. And you know, if we can supplement and be helpful, then fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and save that now. As I go back to my thank you that I was sent, again, there's my video. It'll open. Now we see that giving form lives right down here. So just to show, you can go through the entire experience. So it's not a modified experience. I can actually go through, I can fill out the form, I can pay with a card. Everything that you can do on that other site, you can now do here on ThankView. So it's just marrying the experiences of the two on top of each other. So if you were to go and reload, you would also see this page here. Again, shout out to my friends at Give Butter. They really have a fantastic product, very affordable. And with that, I will say, I think that's it, folks. I mean, I promised that this would be a really simple, short demo, and that's it. Of course, we use this right here on the, we showed how it worked on a donor thanks campaign, but just to show you, now I'm doing an event page. I see the same option right down here. So I still can embed a form right there. Some other things to note, just kind of previewing, ThankView, we're always looking to kind of build some of these solutions natively. So surveys, RSVP functionality, that sort of stuff. But we also recognize that you have the platforms you already have. So, sometimes it's like, can't beat them, join them, or don't reinvent the wheel. We want you to be able to kind of have whatever experience you have for those other needs and just be able to kind of marry it and tie it into ThankView. So you can at least have that kind of personal touch, which then drives them to take whatever action you want to have them take next. So it is with that I will stop and say, thanks. Does anyone have any questions? Are there any questions? I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. All right. Any questions? I guess while we're waiting, let's see. I got 5 responses. Fantastic. Let's see. Oh, did you like the webinar? Yes. Sorry, I can't help myself. Do you like it? Yes. Will you try it yourself? Yes. RSVPs, RSVPs, surveys, giving forms. What would this look like? Ooh, I like it, Utah. Let's try it. Let's drop it in. Well, you know what? I'm going to go back to our first campaign that we just made. If anyone else has links that they want to test out, go ahead and drop it into the chat or send it back as a survey. Actually, you can't send it back as a survey because I changed it. So, and this is Smokey. Sorry, a dog just appeared. I'm not sure if you've met him before. This is Smokey. Say hello, Smokey. Okay. There we go. Let's preview it. Oop, it looks like there's something with this code that's not making it available. Let me go ahead and I'll try to save it. Actually, you know what? Let's save it. Let's try it again. That might be it. Still no. But let's go ahead and see what does it look like on my page. Yep, so it looks as though this has refused to connect. So to Janzel, if that is, it may not be a publicly available link. Yes, yeah, that's likely it. If it's not a public link, that can be something that stops it from being accessible. Even in this view before, I think I sent a view of my survey when before I also saw that same screen. I used the URL that is my view in. So you're seeing that this is kind of the editor view. But of course, I had to go ahead and grab the shareable link here. So sometimes things like that will make it so that they're unshareable. So the thing I would suggest, just play around with it. You can drop codes in, you can preview it. You can always see what happens in the preview. The preview is not, it's not going to be the full experience because it's just showing the scroll. So even in this case, let's go back, change this code again to Google Forms. So on preview, you're going to see that it's there. But as you saw in the final experience, you can actually scroll when you receive it. Here, you can't scroll. It's just like displaying it and showing it how it'll show up. So of course, in the final experience, you can scroll. What was the question? How about this one? Oh, hey, Sean, how you doing? Ooh, I love this. There used to be a game called Monster Rancher. This is aging me and probably making me seem like a real dork. It was a game for PlayStation, and you could put in different CDs into the PlayStation, and certain CDs would have different monsters on them. It's kind of like Pokemon, but even lamer. And I did that for hours and hours and hours. So this kind of is like that, where we get to see, does it work? Ooh, let's see. Hey, look at that. Yes, it does. So now, oh, I'm previewing. Let's go ahead and save that. now everyone that has their thank you opened, if you want to give to community rowing, there's never been a better time. Look at that. So I can scroll down. I will give you $2,500, Sean. Let me just check with the wife first. And then you can go ahead and fill out all this information here. So as you can see, this can work. And all this is doing is embedding the CRI experience, the website, directly into our experience. So the other things you could do there, which I'm mentioning, this is just showing the entire website. If you had the iframe code and you had the iframe code for just the giving section, that's all that would display. So that's what I mean by iframe. Again, go ahead and click on that. How do I embed a form code here? That can help you with those questions. And of course, if you ever have questions or you need help, you can always live chat us. So you can kind of, pop in your question right here, start a conversation with someone on my team. We're of course happy to help you however we can. Got another question? No, that's it. Well, if there are any other questions, you can let me know. My email is jd@thankview.com. You can obviously come over to thankview.com. The live chat, as I mentioned here, we're always here, 9 to 5 East Coast time. We get back to you within 24 hours, any question you have. So if you do have questions and you happen to be on the West Coast or in Hawaii or some other time zone, we can always help you there. But as always, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this useful. I hope that now you have this in your head. There's a whole bunch of new thoughts you have, like, ooh, what else can I embed? What other experiences can I kind of promote using ThankView? Because that's what we're really here to do. We don't want to try to make you switch over, convert from the things you're already used to doing. We just want to make it easier for you to do it. So with that, I appreciate it. Thank you for people who did fill out the survey. If you want to see other webinar topics, if there's other things you need to learn about that you don't know about, please let me know. Yeah, and this is perfect timing. Great, I'm so happy to hear that, Janzel. So after this webinar, I will share the recording of it. I will also share, actually let me do a few little plugs here. If you are not a member yet of the ThankView Facebook partner community, go ahead and just type ThankView partner community into Facebook. This is a place where we're sharing best practices, new updates. People share examples of what they've done. You can ask questions. We have polls. Just a really great place to ask, to like learn more about ThankView, share your experience, and learn from other folks that are using it. Another thing I'm going to share with you is a ThankView idea share document. So, as this COVID pandemic has continued to happen, we have this public document, which is really designed for you to drop in your examples. So you can kind of show what you've done, how you've done it, any examples of how you've done it. And then we also have this long-running list of all these different organizations that have used ThankView during the COVID crisis to send updates, to raise support for emergency student funds, for nonprofits that are helping, again, kind of get the word out about how they're helping and how volunteers and donors can get involved. So I will send you all that after this as well. That's it. Thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Take care.